Hey, everybody. I'm Dr. Seth, psychologist, and today we're going to continue talking about core beliefs. There are sometimes some negative core beliefs that a person has that are holding them back in life, causing them to feel negative about themselves, negative about the world around them, and really preventing them from feeling good and a lot of times achieving some of the goals and life satisfaction that I really think everybody is deserving to feel. So, we are going to talk about one particular core belief today. Now, in other videos, I have talked about the core belief that I am defective, that just something inherently is wrong with you. I am defective. We've talked about that. And we've talked about another core belief that's very common. I am unlovable. Just feeling or being afraid that maybe deep down there's something about you that just makes you unlovable. We've talked about those, but today I want to talk about the core belief I am unattractive. I am unattractive. Now, ask yourself this. Do you think that this is something that probably a lot of people deal with? Would you imagine that this is something that's fairly common? People who really believe deep down in their heart of hearts that they are unattractive, that they sort of hold on to this belief and that it colors so much of their self esteem and life experience. Would you think that's a common problem or not a common problem? If you're someone who thought, yeah, I bet there are a lot of people that do believe that, you are right. You are right. A lot of times, some of these individuals come into therapy. I've worked with people who have had this problem, who have been operating from this negative core belief that is so deeply entrenched and it's so old. It's really difficult to kind of break it apart, but it's possible. Okay. I have worked with people like that. And yet, a lot of other people don't necessarily ever start therapy or come into therapy. So, a lot of people just go through life believing this serious belief acting as a really heavy weight that holds them down. And what I would like to ask of anyone who believes this, anyone who deeply believes that they are unattractive, I would ask you, what might this be holding you back from? What might your life look like? How might your life be better or different if you didn't believe that anymore? What could be possible for you? That is something that's really important to think about, okay? So I just want to talk a little bit more about though this belief of I am unattractive, okay? Now, why does someone who has that belief have it? Let's just start from there. Where does it come from? Well, a lot of times it comes from negative messages from a parent. But you know what? It's not always the parents that are to blame if you are someone who believes that you are unattractive. A lot of times it can come from the playground too. Experiences with other kids growing up, being bullied, people taunting you or calling you mean names. It's unbelievable how many people carry some of those messages they heard on the playground, names being called, other kids saying things about them. How many years, you guys, we carry that through life so often, for years, for decades. Some of the stuff, the negative criticism we heard as kids, we still carry with us, like a huge knapsack just weighing us down. We bring it into every new work situation we go to, and to any party that we arrive at, into any social situation. We can carry that with us so many years later. So, hopefully, in this video, talking more about it, thinking more about it, learning a little bit more about it will help you have a click where it doesn't have the same power. And you can start to combat this thought, overcompensate, counterbalance this negative core belief with new, better, positive beliefs. Okay. So that's a little bit about kind of where that core belief can come from. Now, the question is, let's look at what does it really mean? If you're someone who believes that you're unattractive, what way do you mean it? I'm thinking of a couple of different ways. There's attractive physically. So, do you feel like you are physically unattractive? There's also Emotional. Do you feel like you are emotionally unattractive? Your personality. Do you think the different personality traits that you have are unattractive? Or do you just maybe feel attractive in one way, but unattractive in the other? Maybe some people feel like, no, they are attractive physically, but if people really get to know them deep down, it is their emotional characteristics that make them unattractive. Or is it the opposite? Do you feel like if only people could get to know you, they'd see how great you are? So you feel emotionally attractive, but you feel weighed down by this importance of being physically unattractive. All right, think about those things. Now, what I would like to do is use a little reality testing. This is a kind of psychological technique where we can challenge some of the thoughts that we have. Ask yourself this: do you tend to look at people, not just yourself, but people? Do you tend to look at people through a lens that is compassionate? Or do you tend to look at people through a lens that is critical? Which of those two? Do you choose that you are more compassionate, the way you see people, or more critical? Think about if I have two different pairs of glasses here and I could offer you one of those sets of glasses. Hey, this is my critical glasses and these are my compassionate glasses. Which glasses would you like to put on here? Which set of glasses do you feel like you probably end up wearing more when you are looking at other people, thinking about other people, sort of assessing other people? A lot of times, how we look at other people is with the same set of glasses for how we look at ourselves. And now, just ask yourself that too about yourself. Do you tend to look at yourself more compassionately, or do you look at yourself more critically? All right. Now, if you chose critically, if you said, no, I'm definitely probably more critical, here's my question. Okay, you see it, you see the problem. Is that something you're okay with, or is that something that you're trying to change? Do you know that a lot of people will answer that question? Is this something that they're okay with, or is this something that they're trying to change? A lot of people will answer by sort of thinking, uh, like, huh? Right? Because it occurs to them in that moment, they're actually not actively working on changing it. They have actually accepted it. They have actually surrendered to it. They've actually accepted, well, this is just the way it is. No, it's not. It doesn't have to be. If you can take control of that, if you can say, listen, this is a negative belief that I have been operating from that is holding me back in life, and I am refusing going forward to living that way. I outright refuse to continue to live this way under that rigid belief. The next question I want to ask is, again, going back to others. When you look at others, okay, think about someone in your life. Think about a family member, a friend, maybe even just an acquaintance. If you're in school, think about somebody you go to school with, or if you have a job, think about just somebody at the job that you work at. Ask yourself, can you see some of the good in that person? Not all of the good. I'm not asking, do you think that we should, call them the most amazing person in the world? No. Can you see some of the good in that person? The odds are that you probably can take the average person and see some good in that person. The question is, do you see some good in yourself? If deep down you tell yourself, I am unattractive, you wish it were different, you wish it could change, but you tell yourself, it's just the way it is, I am unattractive. Are you also saying to yourself, I don't see some of the good in myself? You have to realize that we are all a mix, that we are all a mix. And in fact, seeing others as a mix, seeing the positive traits that a person has, as well as the negative traits, that is sort of the sum of who another person is. It is also the sum of who each one of us is. Each one of us has strengths. And then also, each one of us has some weaknesses or some character defects, some things, some personality traits that we could work on. The goal for you is not to choose an all or nothing, black or white construct, like either I am unattractive 100% or I am attractive 100%. But to say I am a mix, I have my positives and I have my negatives. These are some qualities that are attractive, and maybe these are some of my qualities that aren't as attractive, but I am a mix. But I am a mix. But I am a mix. It is not all or nothing. It is not choose yes or no. We are all a mix. So it's really important to ask yourself, what are some of the characteristics or qualities that you have that are attractive? When we're talking about physical characteristics, for example, what about your physical body do you like? Think about every different component of your body. You can like your eyes, you can like your eye color, you can like the color of your hair, you can like your cheekbones, you can like any number of things. Find something that you do like physically. And emotionally, the same way. What are some characteristics about yourself that you find emotionally attractive? Are you reliable? Are you funny? Are you honest? Are you sweet? Are you nurturing? The list is endless of positive emotional characteristics that a person can have. And I would imagine that each one of you has several things that can make you attractive and that others can see as attractive too. Ultimately, if you're someone who believes that you have been suffering from this negative core belief, I am unattractive, the truth is that you have been operating from a black or white perspective, all or nothing, and that it's time to see yourself as a mix, to see yourself as having shades of positive things, as well as maybe shades of a few negative things. And the negative things, you are compassionate with yourself about. When you have a choice, you realize I wear the compassionate glasses, not the critical ones. Okay. I hope this video has been helpful. I hope it got you thinking about looking more carefully at how you see yourself and also others, because the two are related. You also may find some other videos on my YouTube channel here, Dr. Seth Psychologist, helpful. And I wish you all the best. I believe the more we keep gaining insight, the better our lives can be.